I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, October the 17th in sunny South Dakota. I tell you what, the Northern Plains weather as we get deep into this fall has been so much better. Not that they haven't had their cold blasts and their early snows too, but so much better than the Central Plains. And you get further south down in Texas, coming to you here from Waco, Texas, where I talked to some producers here in Central Texas at the Merck Animal Health meeting, and had a good time there and met some good people. But oh man, the Northern Plains has been having some really great weather compared to some of the rest of us, and had some unconfirmed reports of Canadian snow geese having a head-on with some of the other flocks as they were headed south and decided they wanted to go back to the Dakotas, and then had a bad collision there. But don't know, maybe we'll hear more about that in the coming days. But let's look at the board on Tuesday. October live cattle down 72 cents to end the day at 112.65. December down 20 at 117.77. You've got the managed money, fund money, is wanting to buy live cattle because they know seasonally and the way they've been looking at the charts and the data that we should be getting to the time where your fat cattle should be getting higher, and the supplies are coming back into higher market's favor. But with the weather and everything that's been going on, it's just tough for this market to get any higher. And with the Northern Plains having more plentiful supplies of market-ready fat cattle and tending to sell cattle earlier in the week as they're still busy with harvest and everything, and then it's making it tough for the Southern Plains boys that have tighter supplies to get cattle, the price of them, the market back up a little bit. And we really need the Southern Plains feedlot sellers, the few that are left, to kind of lead the way. But with your Northern Plains guys starting the week out earlier at either steady or weaker money, it's really been a tough sledding to get this market up. But October feeder cattle down $1.07 at 154.02. November down a buck even at 154.22. Your fats, I haven't seen a whole lot yet, but just like the last probably 6 weeks here that we've been struggling to get higher, we've been kind of hanging in that 110, 111 and 174, 175 region. We saw some early sales here again with Iowa selling cattle in the low 170s dressed. Nebraska did sell a pretty good clip, over 2,000 head on Tuesday there at 174, but we have yet to establish a market. But going to be tough right here, but we continue to see the board selling at a premium, and we're deep into the spot month. But now we're getting where they backed the board off, and like I said, at end of the day on Tuesday at 112.65. If we're going to keep another steady market, that's not enough to promote many more deliveries, wouldn't think. But still try to cling to steady here the way things are going. But like I said, inventories are pretty good. The packers have a lot of cattle bought up in the Northern Plains, but they can buy cattle cheaper up there, and in many cases put wheels under them and fill some of the empty hooks that they have in the upper part of the Southern Plains down into Kansas and some of the facilities there, and it gives them more leverage whenever they have to start trading with the Southern Plains on the tighter supplies that they have. But box beef cutout values seem to have kind of established a floor here for the time being, and should be seasonally kind of moderating out here as we start getting into some early holiday season type buying for some higher quality product. But your choice cuts ended the day on Tuesday at 204.61, higher than the average of last week's trade, but still down 19 cents for the day. Selects 192.55, up 66 cents, and now that choice select spread is starting to spread again at $12.06. But let's look at some of the feeder cattle markets. Your real-time index on Beef Market Central late in the day on Tuesday at 150.199. That was down just 26 cents, so basically just steady. But the Southern Plains, the big sales are still struggling because of all the rain and the mud and wet conditions. Here in Central Texas, I tell you, it's just a deluge of water, wiping out bridges and flooding places, and guys having to move cattle around, and just, I mean, really a mess with all the rain that they're seeing down there. We've seen in the last week or so a lot of rain in southern Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas Panhandle, and not getting very good runs there. OKC West only 1,200 head for their calf sale and should be having 4,000 plus, and that's going to add to some of the market pressure we see once things start to dry out, because they're going to be backed up selling these calves. But on that light run in OKC West at El Reno, mostly steady. They did note a higher undertone on your peewee steers, under 450 pounds, as some of your smaller producers getting in there and digging around and getting some wheat grazing calves. But the calves are selling good. When you get further north, Riverton, Wyoming, you see here on Cattle Market Central, 181 head of 5-weight steers, averaging $515 at $193. Good sale in Riverton. Fredonia, Kansas can sell yearlings up there. 74 head of 820-pound yearling steers bring $157.75. Had a monster sale at Philip the Giant, Philip Livestock Auction. You can watch every week here on DV Auction, but over 8,000 head in Philip. And talked to a guy there. He said it was beautiful there, sunny weather, 50 degrees, just ideal fall conditions there. They had string after string after string. They marketed and featured those mostly in load lots, but one of the bigger bunches, they had 142 head of 614-pound calves, and most all their calves were ballers, 170-350. Talked to Kurt Sporleader, Unionville Livestock Market, Unionville, Missouri. Had a good consignment of 180 steers from Rockin' R Farms there, close neighbor. 3 loads of good black steers there, averaging from 829 up to 851. They bring from 163 to 163.35. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.